This is Mamuni. Thank you so much for being Amar Baba.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I am going to discuss how to solve a double column cash book with cash and bank columns. So let's get started. Chalo, shuru kora jak. Please remember, cash book, be it a single column or a double column or a triple column, always records cash transactions, and cash book does not record credit transactions. Okay? And all cash receipts are recorded on the debit side in the cash column, and all cash payments are recorded on the credit side in the cash column. Okay? And all checks received are recorded on the debit side in the bank column, and all checks paid are recorded on the credit side in the bank column. Okay? And please remember, the cash column will always show a debit balance, but the bank column may show a debit balance or a credit balance. If the bank column shows a credit balance, it is known as overdraft or bank overdraft. And what is bank overdraft? Bank overdraft means an arrangement under which a current account holder or bank customer is allowed to withdraw more than the balance to her or his credit up to the specified limit. Overdraft is allowed only for a short period, and in return interest is charged on it. Okay? Bank overdraft is a kind of loan, and this facility is given to the current account holders or bank customers, and in return bank overdraft interest is charged from the customers. Okay? তোমার যদি কোনো ব্যাংকে কারেন্ট অ্যাকাউন্ট থাকে এবং তোমার অ্যাকাউন্টে যদি যথেষ্ট পরিমাণে মানি না থাকে, তুমি তবুও সেখান থেকে অনেক টাকা উইথড্র করতে পারো। সেটা ব্যাংক তোমাকে একটা স্পেশাল ফ্যাসিলিটি দেবে, and in return একটা interest charge করবে on bank overdraft. Okay, this is a kind of loan. So let's go through the problem. Now see, here is the problem: cash book double column. Enter the following transactions in a double column cash book. Here is the column of date, here is the column of transactions, and here is the amount column. So what is the first transaction? The first transaction is 2022 on 1st April, cash in hand 16,000, cash at bank 18,000. So the opening balance of cash is given in the problem, and the opening balance of cash at bank is also given in the problem. So we don't have to prepare any journal entries, so the question of narration does not arise. Since cash column shows a debit balance, we'll write on the debit side in the cash book, in the cash column, to balance BD 16,000. And the bank column also shows a debit balance. There is no bank overdraft, so it's a debit balance, cash at bank. So we'll have to write on the debit side in the cash book, in the bank column, to balance BD 18,000. Okay, so let's write. On 1st April 2022, cash in hand, how much? Cash in hand 16,000. To balance BD, to balance BD 16,000, and cash at bank 18,000. There will be no journal entry, so the question of narration does not arise. Okay, this is the opening balance of cash in hand and the opening balance of cash at bank. Both are debit balances. We don't have to prepare any journal entries, so the question of narration does not arise. Now let's see the next transaction. The next transaction is on 6th April, purchased machinery and payment made by cash 11,000. So what will be the journal entry? The journal entry will be machinery account debit to cash account. What is the position of cash account? Since cash account is on the credit side, machinery account will also be on the credit side. So we'll have to write by machinery account in the cash book on the credit side in the cash column 11,000. Okay, so let's write. So 6th April by machinery account So buy machinery account 11,000. We always have to write narration, otherwise marks will be deducted in the exam. Being machinery purchased for cash. Okay. And moreover, cash column represents cash account. And cash account comes under real account. According to real account, what goes out is credit. Here, when machinery is purchased, cash goes out from the business. So cash account will be credited. So 11,000 will be credited. Okay. Now let's see the next transaction. The next transaction is on 7th April paid wages for erection of above machinery. That is this machinery. 1,000. So what will be the journal entry? I know many of you will write wages account debit to cash account. This is wrong. Please remember, wages paid for erection of machinery is a capital expenditure. So instead of debiting wages account, we'll have to debit machinery account. Understood? So instead of wages account, machinery account will be debited. Okay? The journal entry will be machinery account debit to cash account 1,000. Okay? Just like the above transaction. তুমি নতুন একটা মেশিন কিনেছো বিজনেসের জন্য, তো মেশিনটা বিজনেসে প্লেসমেন্ট করছো, ইনস্টল করছো, তার জন্য যে লেবারার্স এসছে তাদের ওয়েজেস দিতে হচ্ছে ডিউ টু দ্য পারচেজিং অফ আ নিউ মেশিনারি. সো দ্যাট ইজ দ্য রিজন this is a capital expenditure. Okay. So what is the position of cash account? Since cash account is on the credit side, machinery account will also be on the credit side. So we'll have to write buy machinery account in the cash book on the credit side in the cash column 1,000. Okay. So let's write. On 7th April, buy machinery account. How much? 1,000 in the cash column. Being wages paid for erection of machinery. Okay. Now, moreover, cash column represents cash account and cash account comes under real account. According to real account, what goes out is credit. Here, when wages is paid for the erection of machinery, cash goes out from the business. So cash account will be credited. 1,000 will be credited. Understood? So let's see the next transaction. The next transaction is on 12th April paid charity by check 10,000. So what will be the journal entry? The journal entry will be charity account debit to bank account since check is mentioned here. So what is the position of bank account? Since bank account is on the credit side, charity will be also on the credit side. So we'll have to write buy charity account on the credit side in the cash book in the bank column 10,000. Please remember, since we are preparing double column cash book with cash column and bank column, we'll always have to look at the position of cash column and bank column. আর কোনো অ্যাকাউন্ট আমাদের দরকার নেই দেখায়, চ্যারিটি অ্যাকাউন্টও না, অন্য কোনো অ্যাকাউন্টও না. So let's write 12th April by charity account paid by check. So in the bank column 10,000 being charity paid by check. Moreover, bank column represents bank account. Bank account comes under personal account. According to personal account, the giver of the benefit is credit. Here, when charity is paid by check, bank is the giver of check. So bank account will be credited. 10,000 will be credited. So now let's see the next transaction. The next transaction is on 18th April, bank collected interest on securities 2,000. So what will be the journal entry? The journal entry will be bank account debit to interest account. So what is the position of bank account? Since bank account is on the debit side, interest account will also be on the debit side. So we'll have to write to interest account in the cash book on the debit side in the bank column 2,000. অলওয়েজ মনে রাখবে ব্যাংক ডিরেক্টলি ইন্টারেস্টটা কালেক্ট করছে ব্যাংক অ্যাকাউন্টে, তো ব্যাংক ইজ দ্য রিসিভার 2,000, ব্যাংক ব্যালেন্স ইজ ইনক্রিজড. ওকে, সো লেটস রাইট অন 18th April to interest account to interest account. How much? Bank column e hobe because bank interest collect koreche, being interest collected. Okay, and moreover bank column represents bank account, and bank account comes under personal account. According to personal account, the receiver of the benefit is debit. Here when bank receives interest, bank is the receiver of interest, so bank will be debited by 2000. Okay, so let's see the last transaction. The last transaction is on 25th April, purchase goods and paid by check 5000. So what will be the journal entry? The journal entry will be purchases account debit to bank account. Ignore goods, since goods are purchased for resale. So what is the position of bank account? Since bank account is on the credit side, purchases account will also be on the credit side. So we'll have to write by purchases account in the cash book on the credit side in the bank column 5000. Okay, since check is mentioned. So let's write on 25th April, by purchases account, how much? In the bank column 5000, paid by check, being goods purchase and paid by check. Okay, and moreover, since bank column represents bank account comes under personal account. According to personal account, the giver of the benefit is credit. Here when goods are purchased, check is paid by the bank, so bank is the giver of the benefit, so bank account will be credited by 5000. Now let's calculate the total of cash column on the debit side and the total of cash column on the credit side. Let's do it. Okay, so the total of cash column on the debit side is 16,000 and the total of cash column on the credit side is 12,000. So what is the rule? Jeta borrow seta likhte hobe. So we'll write 16,000 on both the sides, because the total of cash column on the credit side is 12,000. So what is the shortfall? So what is the difference? The balancing figure will be, if you deduct the total of cash column on the credit side from the total of cash column on the debit side, you will get the balancing figure. The total of cash column on the credit side is 12,000 and the total of cash column on the debit side is 16,000. So deduct 12,000 from 16,000, you will get 4,000. Okay, so we'll write by balance CD, 16,000 minus 12,000 will give you 4,000. Okay, what is the date? Last day in the month of April, 30th April. Okay, so this is the closing cash in hand, and this closing cash will always be the opening cash for the month of May, 1st May. To balance BD. Okay, this is the closing cash 4,000 for the month of April, and this closing cash in hand will be the opening cash in hand for the month of May. So by balance CD will be brought down beneath the debit total, beneath the cash column. How much? 4,000. Okay, so now let's calculate the total of bank column on the debit side and the bank column on the credit side. Okay, so the total of bank column on the debit side is 20,000 and the total of bank column on the credit side is 15,000. So we'll have to write obviously 20,000, because the rule is jeta borrow seta likhte hoy. So there will be a balancing figure on the credit side because there is a shortfall in the bank column on the credit side. How much? The total of bank column on the credit side is 15,000 and the total of bank column on the debit side is 20,000. So deduct 15,000 from 20,000, you'll get 5,000. So this is the closing cash at bank. Okay, and this closing cash at bank will be the opening cash at bank for the month of May. So we'll write 5,000. Okay, by balance CD always আমাদের to balance BD করতে হয় because this 4,000 closing cash in hand and this 5,000 closing cash at bank for the month of April will become the opening cash in hand and the opening cash at bank for the month of May. Okay, So now see, the cash book is balanced. Okay? I hope you understood. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your precious time. I sincerely hope this was helpful. And before I fade out, please remember your degree or your certificate is just a piece of paper. But the real education is our behavior, our principles, our ethics, our moral standards, and our sanskars, and how we treat others and how we respect others. Because I personally feel education without values is of no use at all. If we are not good human beings, how can we make the world a better place to live in? Bye bye. Take care, stay safe, and stay blessed always.